Welcome to my kitchen for my newest video. What we're going to make is an herb encrusted whole chicken along with pancetta home fries infused with a rosemary oil. Let's start with the chicken. I picked a Perdue oven roaster. Now this chicken is vegetarian fed, cage free, and there are no additives to make the chicken bigger. This is a 7-pound chicken and it comes with this little feature here. What this does is once the chicken is perfectly cooked, this will pop up to let you know, and then you pull the chicken right out. So it lets you know when the chicken is cooked. It's a nice little feature to have. Okay, so what I have here as well is 1 cup of parsley, 1 cup of cilantro, and a ½ cup of mint, along with 4 cloves of garlic. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to put it in a food processor with some olive oil and make a little bit of a paste. At that point, we're going to rub it all over the chicken. I'm going to squeeze some lemons, so we're going to need 2 lemons over the chicken just to give it a little bit of acidity. And then we're going to stuff the inside cavity of the chicken with the lemon so that it's also vaporizing the lemon on the inside as well. We're going to do a little bit of pancetta home fries that are infused with a rosemary oil. And we're going to sprinkle it with Parmesan cheese as a side accompaniment to the chicken. Okay, so we got a lot going on. A very simple recipe. Let's get started. Okay, so I have all the herbs in the food processor. I put the garlic. I took 2 big pinches of salt and 1 pinch of pepper. And now we're just going to close the top up. And we're going to put the food processor on. And we're going to drop in some extra virgin olive oil. Say about 1/3 of a cup. And this is what we want. We want a nice little fine herbs that are moist from the oil because we want it to stick to the chicken. And we're just going to pat it on the chicken. Before we do that, we're going to salt and pepper the chicken. So let's get that done and we'll come right back. Okay, so I have the paste that we made and I'm just rubbing it on the chicken. I wish you were here so you could see how good this smelled. It's got a nice fresh flavor. So we're going to put it on one side of the chicken and then we're going to flip it over and put it on the inside of the chicken. So make sure you get both sides of the chicken nicely covered. A tin pan just to make it easier for cleanup later. What I'm going to do now is I have a strainer and I'm going to just squeeze some lemon and make sure that the chicken's hit with lemon. Give it a nice little acidic flavor to it as well. It works well with the herbs. When I squeeze the lemon and I'm done, I just take the lemon and I'm just going to stick it into the cavity of the chicken, and whatever juice is left inside the lemon will actually steam inside the chicken and give it a complete lemon flavor from the inside out. Okay, so I took about 1.5 lemons, squeezed it all over, made sure I covered most of the chicken, and then just stuffed the cavity like that. Okay, so now the chicken is ready to go in the oven. I also want to point out that I made sure I didn't cover the indicator with the herbs so you could see it. I'm going to put the oven in this way so that the indicator, I can see it from the window of the oven. We're going to put it in the oven and we're going to let it cook. We have the chicken cooking in the oven at 355 degrees. Looks like it's going to take about 2 hours. I didn't take into account that the chicken's a little bigger than what I normally make. It's a 7-pound chicken, but I'm just keeping an eye on the indicator, and once it pops, it's ready to go. I'll let you know exactly how long it took once it pops. Okay, so while that's happening, I have 5 Russell potatoes, just regular baking potatoes, cooking in a salted water, boiling water, and we're going to let these boil till the largest potato, you can stick a fork in it kind of gently, and then we'll know it's done. But let's come over here. While that's happening, I took 1 cup of the pure canola oil, I took the ½ cup of rosemary and the 4 cloves of garlic, and I'm going to make an oil out of that. So, let's just pop it in there. We're going to let this go for a few minutes. For about a minute. Okay, so it's been going about a minute, and if you take a look now, our sauce is nice and deep green, and we have some bits of rosemary in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a strainer, put it over a bowl, and just let it strain out the oil. So it's a nice oil with no bits in it, and we're going to use that to make our home fries and our pancetta. So we're going to just let this sit here for a few minutes till everything goes through, and we'll work on the potatoes next. Okay, so I've stuck a fork in the largest potato, and it seems tender, so it looks like the potatoes are done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the potatoes out, and I'm just going to put them in this bowl, and we're going to let them sit for a little while, about 15 minutes, let them get to room temperature before we cut them up, so that they don't fall apart, let them harden up a little. Let's go over here to the oil. Okay, so the oil has been strained, and if you look, it's a nice green oil. All the rosemary flavor and the garlic is in there. So all I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to take a pinch of salt, and I'm just going to take just a touch of pepper. I'm going to mix it up. And we're going to use this oil to cook a little bit of the pancetta and use it to cook the home fries to give it a little bit of a garlic flavor, a garlic rosemary flavor with the pancetta, with the herb encrusted chicken. I think we're in store for a good meal. Okay, so I've let the potato cool off, and we're just going to cut it. We're going to cut them into some squares so we can make the home fries. No real science to it. I'm just going to cut them, and then I'm going to flatten like this, and just cut them into nice little squares. Not too small, not too big. And we're going to do this with all the potatoes. And then we'll get to cooking them and getting a nice crisp on them. Some nice flavor from the rosemary oil. We'll add a little Parmesan cheese, the pancetta. I think it's going to be delightful. Okay, so we're going to start the home fries. First thing we're going to do is we're going to heat up and crisp up the pancetta. Now, pancetta is similar to bacon. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to take a 1/4 cup of that rosemary olive oil that we made. This is going to give a nice flavor to the pancetta. Okay, so I have some pancetta here. And pancetta is similar to bacon. It's a cured meat. The only difference is that bacon is smoked. This is not smoked. So if you're going to buy, if you can't find it already chopped up like this, I already have it cut up, you can get a 1-inch thick piece of pancetta from your deli and then chop it up yourself. I took the easy way out. I got it pre-chopped. Okay, so we're going to let this heat up. Just get a little heat on this, on a cast iron skillet, and now I'm going to drop the pancetta in here. And we're going to crisp it up the same way that we would with bacon. And once it's crisped up, I'm going to put it here on top of this just to drain it of the oil. And then we'll start with the potatoes. Okay, so let's get this started. So I've crisped up my pancetta. And I'm going to use a slotted spoon so that the oil drains into the pan, because we're going to use that oil. Okay. As you can see, the pancetta is now crispy, just like bacon. You want it nice and crispy. And we're going to just drain it of the oil. We're going to use that rosemary oil to cook the potatoes, and we'll get some of that flavor on the potatoes as well. And then we'll top it off with a little Parmesan cheese, and we're going to get some good flavors out of that. We'll add some salt and pepper. I'm really looking forward to tasting this. I think it's going to be really... Okay, so now I just started to heat up the oil, and I'm going to drop the potatoes in here. You want to make 1 layer of potatoes. So let's do that. I don't have that many potatoes, so we'll lay them in there like that. And we're going to let them crisp up. So we're going to let them in here for a few minutes. I'd say about 5 to 6 minutes. And what we're going to do is we're going to press down. so they're nice up against the pan because you want to form that crust that's so good on home fries. While we're doing that, we're going to sprinkle salt and pepper over the top of the potatoes. We'll pour a little bit more of the rosemary oil over the top. And we're going to let that crisp up for a few minutes. So let's give it 5 to 6 minutes and let it brown up and get that nice crunchy texture that we love in home fries. Okay, so I had flipped the potatoes. When I flipped them, I added the pancetta. I salted and peppered again. And the potatoes look just about done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the heat off. I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese. Give it a nice little flavoring. Be generous with the cheese. It's just going to give you good flavoring. I'm going to take some parsley. I'm going to add some parsley. And as you can see how the home fries have browned. Okay, I'm going to mix this all up. Good smell here. And these are going to be your home fries that are going to be your accompaniment to your chicken. Now the chicken is cooked for 2 hours and 15 minutes. We're going to pull it out and then we're going to add and plate everything. So let's get started with that. So the chicken's done and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just sprinkle a little lemon over it. Give it a little bit of a acidic flavor to it, some nice lemony flavor. Okay, and then we're going to cut the chicken. I like to cut the chicken, I cut right down the middle to get the breast meat first. And I just come in this way. You need a nice sharp knife. And we'll get the chicken breast first. See how nice that is? You get a nice chicken breast. And we're going to put it back in the broth that the chicken cooked in. So it gets that nice flavor. Got some more here. We'll just keep getting some of this nice, delicious white meat. Oh, it looks nice and tender and juicy. And it's going to sit in here with all the broth. We'll get that chicken wing in there. Ain't no thing like a chicken wing. So we'll get that in there. And we'll just pull this off here. It's nice and soft. We get the leg and the thigh together. And we'll hit the other breast. Get it all in the juices. Let it sit in the juices and absorb all that delicious flavor. It's broth with the herbs and the fat of the chicken. It's just going to give us a nice, really nice flavor. We'll pull the other leg off. We pretty much have all the meat off the chicken. It took about 2 hours. It took a lot longer than I thought it would to cook this chicken. It's one of the bigger chickens that I've cooked, so it takes a while. So about 2 hours, 2 hours and 20 minutes, right in that area. Just keep a close eye on it. And we have all the chicken cut up here and sitting in its juices. We have the potatoes ready to go, so I think it's time to plate and eat, which is the best part. Okay, so we have a chicken breast here. I decided to have a chicken breast tonight with the home fries. I poured a little bit of the some of the oils of the chicken with the herbs and everything. So let's take a bite. Let's see how this is. I can take the citrus, taste the citrus of the lemon with the herbs. The chicken is perfectly tender. It's great. Let's try these potatoes. Crispy. I can take the rosemary and the pancetta. Really good. You know, I really think you're going to enjoy this, and I hope it's a winner in your kitchen too.